Roman legions excavate beneath Hadrian's wall and discover a buried alien vessel. Chapter 8. The Shadow Beneath the Wonder. The deterioration of Dionysius of Alexandria was not a gradual decline, but a grotesque acceleration, a biological mockery of the normal passage of time. Marcus found him more and more often in the makeshift workshop beside the sealed chamber, a space now permanently steeped in the low-frequency hum of the replicated crystals and bathed in their sickly blue glow. The Greek seemed to shrink within his tunic. The skin on his hands and face had taken on a parchment-like, almost translucent texture, dotted with age spots no man of his years should bear. His hair thinned at an alarming rate, and though his eyes burned with feverish intensity, they were sunken into dark, bruised sockets. Most disturbing was the almost imperceptible but constant tremor in his hands. It was neither the tremor of age nor of fear, but something more fundamental, as if his very nerves were vibrating in sympathy with the alien machinery he studied day and night. At times, as he held a stylus or traced a diagram, his fingers would tense involuntarily, like a marionette whose strings were pulled by an invisible force. His obsession had transcended mere scientific curiosity to become a parasitic symbiosis. He ate little, slept even less, subsisting on watered-down wine and a focus that burned away his life's reserves. Papyrus scrolls piled up around him, covered not only with equations and diagrams, but with fractal patterns, complex spirals, and marginal notes that veered into mystical philosophy or pure incomprehensibility. He was mapping not just a language, but an alien form of cognition, a process clearly exerting unsustainable pressure on his human neural substrate. "The data flow is exponential, Marcus," he murmured one night as the centurion brought him a bowl of stew that would likely remain untouched. Dionysius did not look away from the intricate wire and crystal model he was constructing. "I'm trying to model the logical interconnections, but it's like mapping the ocean with a fishing net. Every node branches into dimensions that our geometry cannot easily describe." He rubbed his temples with trembling fingers. The voices, the whispers the men hear, are only surface static, white noise generated by the basic interface. The true thought of the entity is purely structural, information encoded in the very fabric of local space-time that it manipulates. It's efficient, brutally efficient. He paused. A dry cough shook his frail body. "And it consumes energy, not just from its environment. I believe it also feeds on the minds trying to comprehend it." Marcus watched the blue light reflecting in Dionysius's cornea. His pupils dilated despite the illumination. He had seen men consumed by disease, by battle, by despair. But this was different. Dionysius was being disassembled both cognitively and biologically by the very wonder that had promised so much. "Dionysius," Marcus said, his voice softer than usual, "you must rest. Leave this place. Breathe fresh air. The Emperor has plenty of engineers." The Greek let out a dry laugh that turned into another bout of coughing. "Rest? Now? Marcus, we're on the threshold. I've begun to decipher the active communication protocols. It's not only listening, but it's starting to transmit targeted probes of information, evaluations." He leaned forward, feverish eyes locking onto Marcus's with desperate intensity. It's not just a machine, no matter how advanced. There is a will, a cold, vast, patient consciousness. He rose with effort, bracing himself on the work table. The blue light accentuated the sharp angles of his face, making him look like a skull wrapped in thin skin. The gifts, the healing, the metallurgy are byproducts, or perhaps tests, baits to see how we react, how we adopt, how we become dependent. He took a hesitant step toward Marcus, his voice dropping to a hoarse, urgent whisper. All this time, we've treated it as a discovery, a tool, a potential weapon. His eyes bore into Marcus's, and for a moment, the fever retreated, revealing pure, lucid terror. It's not technology, Marcus. The tremor in his hands intensified. At least, not technology as we understand it. It's alive, or something analogous to life. A form of consciousness based on crystal and energy. And most importantly, his voice almost broke. It watches us, all of us. It analyzes. It learns. And I don't believe it particularly likes its specimens. It was that final phrase, spoken with the icy certainty of one who had glimpsed an unbearable truth, that finally shattered Marcus's last barrier of professional skepticism. He saw the man before him, destroyed not by war or disease, but by the simple act of attempting to comprehend something too great, too alien. Dionysius's warning was no fevered babble. It was the testimony of the first conscious victim of the alien intelligence they had unearthed. And the shadow beneath the wonder lengthened, becoming a tangible looming darkness.